Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Desert Underground podcast, where we talk about movies, music, and everything in between. Today, Mr. Brian Holm cannot be with us, but it's just going to be me. And in the studio today, I have Mr. Ryan Smith.
Yo, what up?
Ryan Smith of, good Lord, he's the drummer in D.O.G, which is our band that we have, our punk rock cover band, I guess.
Extra on the heavy punk vibes.
He is the drummer of, and probably should have started with this. He is the drummer for a band. Last time he was on here, I think you were called the Duendes. And it might have changed.
So.
Since then.
Yeah. A lot has happened since the last time I was on the show. But yeah.
So for those that didn't listen, I think it was our third episode. Ryan was here talking about Dinophilia,
yes.
his dinosaur-themed shoegaze band.
We're actually garage punk band.
Garage punk.
Right. First band. I have had some really inventive friends that designed that band, and it was really fun as a first band, especially being gifted the name Michael Ceratops. So.
Michael Ceratops. Yeah. What were the other names in that band?
Iguana. There was an Iguanodon reference, I believe, and it was more like an Iggy Pop type thing. Right. Yeah, and then our bassist Stephanie was Pterodactyl, and it was fun. Yeah. It was a really good first band to be in, especially just goofing off with our buddies.
Oh, right.
Similar to what D.O.G does as well. So.
Right. And what does D.O.G stand for?
Duendes Oro Grande, I believe.
Oh, yeah. I for a while there thought it was dichotomies of grenades.
That was a good favorite too. Yeah. Doug O'Grady, I usually shout out.
Doug O'Grady.
Shows. He's
so,
the original D.O.G.
So let's keep going down the list.
Yes.
You're also currently recording with Foreseers, which is it used to be called Duendes, and now it's Foreseers. So from here on out, everybody needs to call it that.
Foreseers.
And nothing else.
Never. We will not respond to Duendes. No more.
No more, except if you want to buy an album.
Yeah.
We like money.
We are fans. Pay us, please.
All I know is forever will treasure my Duendes shirt.
Yes.
And the note that was left in the album that I bought from you guys.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
But so you guys just recently went and recorded.
Yes, sir.
And you're working on an album.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have a name for it or a project name?
We got some names we're kind of tossing around right now. It's been affectionately labeled LP2 for the longest time. It's still trying to figure out exactly what we're going to call it. Hopefully will be revealed soon.
This isn't going to be your sophomore slump, is it? Come on.
I hope not. Yeah. We're pretty proud of these songs right now that we're currently in the process of working on. We went up to the studio in November, and as 2020 was so 2020-ishness. We were actually supposed to go up in April to record.
Oh, that's right. It kept getting pushed back and pushed back.
We had two separate instances of pushing back the date. So we finally got a chance to go up in November, record with our engineer Jack Shirley. So we worked with him again. He's the same guy we worked with on the first one. So.
What is the name of the studio that you guys went to?
We went to the Atomic Garden, which also it changed locations. It was in Palo Alto. Now it's in Oakland. So we went up to East Oakland in the hood.
Oh, you went to East Bay, man.
East Bay, babies. Yeah, it was.
That's where Rancid's from.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool because he designed it pretty much from the ground up. For his new studio. It was really fun. Last time we were in the studio, he was talking about designing it and building it, and to actually see it and work in it this time was a real treat. Giant tracking room, 2 separate control rooms with another engineer that can operate on off days and whatnot. So.
Oh, I forgot to mention
That's
we got the dogs here tonight.
We got some
too.
Visitors. Yes,
we have
currently gnawing at my crotch.
I have a little Chihuahua here in the studio. And he brought his squeaker toy.
Yes, that is not my dong. It is the squeaky toy.
Well, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, I know. It squeaks when you bang it. That's what she said.
Shit. So okay, and that's band number 4 or 5 that we mentioned, and then
band number 12,
and then the most recent release that you did was your first solo project.
Yes,
and it was called Mercury Transfer.
Yes, sir.
That was the name of the quote unquote band.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess you'd call it a band. You had a guest vocalist.
I did, yes. Actually, my guest vocalist, my girlfriend Lacey O'Grady, she came up with the band name and is kind of she doesn't like to say it, but she's a big force in, at least in my own thought of creating the music and I guess formulating the ideas. So
your muse.
My muse as such.
Muse.
Yes. I like to label that one kind of as my quarantine project. I usually a drummer picking up a guitar is a sad state of affairs, I think, or a scary sight. But it was kind of right around the time of when the world was shutting down a little bit, and just started writing little, shoegaze ambient
right
shit.
So Brian and I were talking about this recently, where we were saying it's very interesting how a lot of people who are very creative people and generally put a lot of music out or constantly doing stuff,
right,
feel less inspired this year, despite having way more time at home. But maybe maybe now that I think about it, it's those outside interactions that influence what you think about and write, and kind of gives you that motivation to, that's your escape.
Right.
But if you're constantly in your escape, that becomes your reality.
It can be too much of a good thing, I guess, or a bad thing. It could be, I guess it really depends on how you approach the process. Like for us, for D.O.G, the shows were always a driving force. So when that was taken away, it's like, what do you do? And how do you adapt to basically what you have to do, is adapt, really. And with Mercury, it was kind of just the idea of trying something or a sound that I had always been a fan of and wanted to explore more so than any other band that I've really been a part of, especially from a creative standpoint as like a solo project or a band leader,
Right. So how many songs did you end up doing for that album?
We did, what was it? 7 songs on the first, on the LP one. In this heat, we grow weary.
In this heat, we grow weary.
In this heat, we grow weary.
So go on to Bandcamp right now and purchase "In This Heat, We Grow Weary" by Mercury Transfer.
Yes, please, thank you. We also did a couple of Cure covers as kind of I would say, proof of concept initially, early on, to kind of get the idea of recording in home and figuring it out. So that was a lot of fun.
So you really pulled up your bootstraps and went for it on this one, because you're doing vocals. Ish.
Yes.
You're doing vocals, you're recording guitar. Was there any bass in it?
In the first album, there was not.
No bass?
Yeah. The stuff I'm working
on. Didn't need
it? Yeah, didn't need it. You guys did. I don't know if you missed it, but it was not there.
All you had to do was drop the octaves down.
It was low E. A lot of low E on a reverbed guitar. So, yeah. So in the newer stuff, we got a bass now, and that's been a lot of fun to work with. But
is that your dick again
my
squeaking?
Dick, yeah. Hey, old squeaker.
Oh, good old squeaker.
Hey. Yeah.
It's going to be really awkward if no one can hear it on the actual recording.
I know. We're just going to be living with this. And what are you doing? What are you doing? What's nudging at my?
We're generally more professional than this. This is why I need Brian here, because he calms everything down.
He's the great equalizer.
He truly is, and bringing him on board to this has been so phenomenal.
Yes,
because my brain does not work like a normal brain works. And so we'll get halfway through. I will find every rabbit hole and tangent I can possibly go on. And he's always like, all right, let's bring it back.
It's a gift, really. The tangents and the reining in.
Good God, the radio voice that guy has.
That is true.
It really ties the room together.
You know that old adage, a voice for radio? Well, it's true, but he also is a very attractive man as well. So,
oh yeah, super attractive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I'm not going to rein this one in. I'll just
we're going to let it fly. Let it fly. All right, so back on track.
There he
for
is.
Brian's sake.
Yes.
So you've been recording in your house.
Yes.
You've been in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
You had a muse, so you just you kind of put that all together, and out of nowhere you were like, "Hey, I'm by the way, guys, I know I'm a drummer, but I'm also everything."
Here's all of the above. Yes,
and
it's really something. Yeah, because I remember most of the songs on the first album I had kind of just been playing around with, just recording. Really, like you said, in quarantine, and just having fun with it. It was a lot of fun to craft these songs, and just with no pressure. So when it came to the day of actually announcing it, and it's really kind of scary, to put something out in the world, and even if you have a preconceived notion of, oh, I sound like this with Foreseers, oh, he's the loud drummer, or the dog.
You
drummer.
are the loud drummer.
Yeah. Yes.
So don't for a minute think you aren't.
Right. Yeah. and it was fun to play to a click. Okay, that wasn't fun, but that has to be horrible. Yeah, it was awful to track, but doing it, having to overcome that, I guess, boundary of like, how am I going to record this and play back to it in a natural way, and it was a challenge, but like the idea of making it and how it was turning out, like, really drove it, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm still having fun with it. So it's not something like, okay, I've done it and I'm done,
Right.
Yeah. So,
right.
And I'm pretty proud of those ones when they were all done, basically. So
that's awesome, man. I'm glad you did it, because it gave me kind of that motivation.
Yes,
because I'm in the middle of doing my own one-man band thing.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that too.
And I'll get into that in a bit. But what song do you want us to show everybody on here?
What's a good encapsulation? I would say the song "Night Bite." Even though you mentioned, me doing everything, that song has vocals on it, and I would say out of the few songs on the album that do have vocals, it's the one I cringe at the least.
Night Bite.
Yes, Night Bite.
All right, everybody, here is Night Bite by Mercury Transfer. So that was Night Bite by Mercury Transfer, which is Ryan is the whole band pretty much.
Heyo.
It's very ambient. It's very much. I don't mean this in an offensive way. It's just very much background music for me.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's that obviously it would. I would imagine it's what people would be like. Yeah, let's get high and just chill and just listen to this
vibes.
You know. But yeah, you're right. It has a vibe. Mm-hmm. It's not the vibe I normally listen to, but totally, it is definitely got that, like, if I'm just trying to relax or whatever, man. Mm-hmm. I really dig it though. I mean,
thanks. Appreciate
you
that.
Clearly have some ambient delay reverb love in that song.
Many reverb pedals were used on that record.
Really?
Not a one, no.
Really?
But
shut your mouth.
I get accosted for my amount of reverbs on my board, but I love them. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. That was the intent behind it. I've always really loved shoegaze music, ambient music, and I don't know. I mean, it's something about just living in that space, and it's just really fun for me at least, to craft those like sonic, I guess, worlds. That is so fucking pretentious.
No. I mean, it truly is like you get to create your space,
right?
And if that's if that's where you find your mark of like,
right.
Whoa, let's follow this and trip out and see what happens. Yeah. You know. Now you have a pedal, and I'm sure a lot of people don't really care about this part, but you have a pedal on your board that's like a 8-bit crusher type.
Yeah.
Pedal. Can you what does that do? Can you explain to me what that thing does?
I was I bought, well, I've gotten a couple different ones even that are not reverbs, but I have you mean is it my fuzz pedal that you mean, or the my delay?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I have a lo-fi delay that
I think that might be
it. Yeah.
It looks like it has like a little 8-bit character.
Yes, that's right.
It.
Yeah, the Kilobyte, Caroline Guitar Co. Kilobyte. And yeah, it's that I was using that one for. It's a straight up delay, but it crushes the signal on the, I guess you could call it decay. And it's got a really cool button called the Havoc button that you hold down, and it just self oscillates into oblivion. So yeah, that's a fun one. I don't remember I don't think I had it.
And so anybody listening, a delay is basically where like you hit a string and then you can set the speed and time of when it's going to play that same note over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. And you can control how long it plays that note. So it's like, hey. Here I am.
I remember seeing those videos where it's the guy, it's when you mess up on a delay pedal and it just it goes infinitely, and he's looking at his watch and
like you hit the wrong note.
Yeah, he goes to sleep. It's still going. He's like, dang it, when is this thing gonna end?
So that is fun. You know, when you can just explore these weird. And there's so many pedal companies out there now, musically, that there should be no noise you can't make.
Exactly.
At some point,
it's truly. I mean, I gotta give a shout out to my Foreseers bandmates, Jason and Tommy, for really just pedal frenzy. I mean, there was a good couple weeks where they would come to practice. Oh, I bought a pedal. Next day, oh, I bought a pedal too. They were just tit for tat, like back and forth. I'm like, good God, man!
You're all, I bought some new drumsticks.
I bought some sticks. They're really good and they won't break.
I hope.
Oh, there goes. Shout outs to Meinl drumsticks. Those are my new faves. So, yeah. Those are the ones. I did not break a single stick in the studio this time. I broke 3 last time for Demons. For the first Foreseers album, Duendes album when we made it, but for the new one, it is. I did not break a stick.
You know,
I survived.
Now I've always been under the impression that between when you're recording an album and you have a stringed instrument, you should put new strings on before every song.
Oh wow,
that you record.
Yeah,
and you should tune them between every take.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. There was always a thing. Yeah.
So is there not a drummer thing of like I should use new sticks each time? Because to me that's the expendable thing.
Well, when it comes to it too, is okay, yeah, you can get a different sound through different.
Man, we only had $1,000.
We're on a tight budget here, all right.
We're not Winger.
Yeah, right. I need drumsticks for every single hit.
We're not Winger.
We're not Winger.
Damn, we have the Winger money, bro.
Why can't we be Winger? But yeah, I mean, it was really cool this time because we recorded the first album in 2 days, which is fucking lightning speed for just blasting out an album, recording it, all instruments, vocals, everything. Like we finished tracking in 2 days. This time around, it was 5 days. So we had a little more time to sit with Jack and kind of dial in tones and figure out different sounds for separate songs and whatnot. And I personally felt, as the drummer this time, I felt more, God, get ready for a rim shot, but in tune. But in tune with my drum sound this time. So, last time I used his house kit and the snare, his in-house snare. He has a Ludwig Black Beauty, which is kind of known to be one of the more recorded snare drums in rock music history. So
I only use drums that Lars Ulrich would use.
Only trash can lids for Saint Anger, basically, right? Yes, yeah. So I was like, this time I had recently gotten a new snare drum, and I felt like I wanted to use it, so I brought it up with me. And so we really sat down and dialed in the snare sound. So the first day, we were trying out different heads and trying out different sounds, and basically we came back to it the second day and said, no, it wasn't right. We had to readjust a lot of Tommy's guitar, and then Jason was getting his sound set up, but it ended up being like really dialing in that drum sound more so than the first album by a long shot, in my own opinion. I mean, I really enjoyed the drum sound of the first one, but I feel like we really, really got it right this time for the second album, and I'm really proud of it.
And that's that ever evolving process of all right, we're not just a garage band recording in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Not to put anybody down, because that's how we all do it right now.
Yes, and it's a sound, and it's a style, and and it's absolutely valid. But there is a huge difference from the demo versions that we had recorded. Like, we demoed this new album extensively. I have a full, basically multi-track recording demo version of the album on my MacBook. But it used it to, figure out the sound. So that when we went up there, it was less surprises, really. Or,
right.
Yeah. And basically,
And you guys, because you had to push it back from April to almost the next April.
Yeah, almost. It was close, man.
Because you had to push it back so much, I assume you guys really worked on those songs.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they changed during that time.
Yes.
To where when you went to the studio, you were like, we're ready.
Yes. It's time. Yeah. And anytime you go into a studio, there's going to be jitters. There's going to be, shaking off any type of, I guess, preconceived notion you have. And I know myself, it took me a little bit to get in the zone. Like, when you're staring at, multiple $1,000 mics, and I'm like, oh my God, I better hit every hit right. And it never happens, but it's still, it's what you aspire to. And that's the joy of like live room recording, in my opinion, is just, that's the sound of that room, is like, you can hear everything. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a joy, really.
I don't know. I've never been. I'm learning right now.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah. he designed this studio, so it's 1,000 square foot tracking room. And he has another engineer that he works with. It's the control rooms are east and west, so it's Atomic Garden East, which is Jack, and then Atomic Garden West, which is his other engineer.
Is it a whole different board that they're mixing
there's
through?
2 separate boards. So yeah, there's boards on each room.
Do you know if they're different models or?
Yeah,
completely.
I'm pretty sure they are different models. I know they list all their stuff on their site too, but I'm pretty sure they're different models. But both rooms have obviously a Pro Tools rig, but they primarily record to 2-inch tape. So as with the first one, on this one, we tracked to 2-inch tape. So, there's not a whole lot of, for the drummer, there's no real punch-ins. You gotta nail it. There's some stuff
no
you can
pressure
do.
or anything,
yeah,
right?
No, not at all. Yeah, there's some stuff you can change in the digital realm, which I had a couple fixes in the Pro Tools box. But yeah, you track to tape, and you better nail that shit. And it's awesome when you do, and then you're like, it's a lot of pressure.
And you got the movable acoustic. Panels and things like that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
I saw a few pictures and it looked pretty cool, man. It looked wild. It looked like something. It looked pro.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously is it's a pro studio, and that's something that I think is going to become more and more rare to find with younger acts that are coming up, because when we were growing up, we had a tape, and on that tape, we had, you push play and record, and then you sang. You didn't even have a mic with it most of the time. I mean, a mic came with it, but
right.
You usually just yelled at the damn thing.
I hope it picks it up. Yeah.
And then I remember about 2002, 2003, I bought a 4-track tape recorder, and then I learned you could dub. Basically bounce those 4 into one.
Yes. Yeah. And, there you go.
Anyway, that was how I started. And I've got some horrible recordings from back then if you want to hear them sometime.
Oh, I would love to.
And then from there, I went up to, good Lord, I don't know. I think I got deployed and I got, oh, no. Okay. So I bought this, I think it was Tascam or something.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a.
Tommy had a Tascam.
Well, it was a digital recorder, but it recorded onto those big flash cards.
Yeah.
The really, really, they're like 3 or 4 inches long, and you put them in, and you're like 256 megs on this bad boy.
I think it's CF cards or
something. I don't know the names of them, honestly. And then I think I still have that as well. But I didn't know what I was doing yet. I didn't know what bouncing was going to do. I would have had all the originals, because I put out an album on that thing. I did this like hardcore punk album where I did everything but sing, and then I had a guy come in and sang.
Okay.
But
you bounced out your instruments and then he sang
right,
over that.
And I lost all of the original recordings, the masters. And then we didn't know what we were doing, man. We had $20 microphones from Walmart, and we had what we had, and that's maybe why it sounded so authentic.
Yeah, it's urgent. Yeah.
It sounded authentic, but it sounded like authentic 80s recorded out of like a trash can. You know what I mean? But it was that authentic sound.
Got that lo-fi vibe.
But even now when I listen to it, because it is fairly unlistenable, but when I listen to it, I think to myself, how do you play those parts, Dane? Because I don't know how to play those anymore.
Right, man. Yeah, there was a time and a place, and it captured that, right?
And get this. So I met the guy. He was my across-the-street neighbor at the time. I was in Kansas in a military base.
Cool.
He's from Puerto Rico. I'm wearing a Misfits shirt, and I skateboard to the mailbox, because as you do.
Standard practice.
And he's like, dude, I got to tell you, I've met the Misfits. And we started talking, and dude's like super punk rock.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, man, I don't play any instruments, but if you want something to sing to, I'm down, man, if you can play. So I'm like, cool. So I bought this little like $80 drum machine. Like,
yes.
It was like five little buttons.
Yep.
And you could actually record it by measure.
Sequencer.
So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and it just kept going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you could go hit this at this level, then go to the next, hit this. And so I don't know how to drum. So some of the drumming on it is a little weird at times. We made it work.
Yeah.
We made it work.
It gave you something to play off of too.
It was it's very interesting to me now because I'm thinking about redoing 5 songs off of there with him.
Oh, okay.
Just as like hey, we haven't played in like 12 years.
That's really, really cool.
Like,
yeah.
And
how do you sound now?
Yeah, and like I'm like, dude, I got everything down now. Like we're good to go. But at the time, it was just like we met up and he goes, well, let's write some stuff. So he came over to my house and we decided we were going to give ourselves a month and we're just going to write and record that whole month.
There you go. Yeah.
20 songs in 30 days. One was a cover. So 19
cool.
songs in 30 days. Written and recorded. And they still hold up 12 years later.
Man. That's so cool.
And to me, that was huge. And I said, man, I don't play guitar solos. I don't do lead. That's not me. You're not going to get it. And he goes, well, you better fucking learn. so I will give that same advice to you.
Yes.
While you're doing your recordings. You better fucking learn.
You gotta fucking learn. I know it, man. Yeah,
no one else is doing it for you, man.
That's true. Yeah,
But really, if you need me to do something for you, no problem.
We're gonna do something. Honestly.
So like that was on that recorder, and then I got this like really tiny. I think Boss put it out. This little digital. It was maybe the size of like a big cell phone.
Okay.
And I took that to Iraq with me and recorded a few tracks on that.
Nice.
And that was about 2008. And 2009, I came back from my 3rd deployment, and I was like, I had a little bit of money, so I bought this $2,000 guitar, and I went and bought an iMac, not knowing about GarageBand or DAWs in general.
Yep.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
No one told me.
No,
man.
I know, and it comes bundled with every Mac. No,
everyone just said if you're gonna do audio and video, and I like doing a little bit of video stuff.
Yep.
They said Mac is gonna get you there right out of the box. I was like, all right, I'll buy one, not knowing a damn. I had to have somebody actually show me how to use a Mac. I didn't know. I hadn't used one since typing class in 5th grade, and it was an Apple back then.
Yeah. An Apple II.
So I had the big floppy disk. I had to put it in
when they were actually floppy.
Yep. So yeah, it was like a weird like all of a sudden, because I was a techie kind of person, I was like all of a sudden I have this digital world, and I didn't realize what an interface was.
Yeah, and it just
no one ever told me.
It opened up, yeah.
I'm like, how do I get the guitar in the computer? The files are in the computer. But eventually I figured it out. I got the Behringer stuff, the real cheapo, and started working with it and went from there.
That's your starting point, yeah.
And so I went from GarageBand to Logic Pro. There was a few years in between where I think I ended up with Sony had a program, Sony Acid Pro.
Acid, yeah, that's right.
So I had Sony Acid Pro, and I had I tried Audacity for like a day.
It wasn't for you.
It was really good at converting from one format to another.
I know it as a conversion software. Yeah, that's
you can
cool.
record straight to it though.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know.
Obviously, Fruity Loops was where I used to do some drum beats and Fruity Loops. As most people my age have done.
Oh yeah.
At one point, everybody was like a techno wizard for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I had my own kind of story of that too. I mean, like, well, you mentioned video. First one I used was iMovie, and then you'd make the natural progression to Final Cut Pro. But I remember basically recording to VHS, like play, pause. Record, play, pause.
Exactly, yeah.
And editing on VHS. And no one taught me that. I was, I don't know, in middle school when I first started doing that. And it's like, it's something you just have it in your head to just try. And, at that age, I feel like there's no rules or, no preconceived notions of like, I'm just going to try this and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, and it's really eye-opening, I think, to have those fundamentals,
And now every fucking kid has these things.
Yep.
They are so much smarter than we were.
And they have the abilities, yeah.
And
it's really cool. My Lacey's nephew showed me stop motion that he made on his laptop. And I believe he's 8 years old. And he was showing me this process and how he was editing these things together. And I'm like, where'd you learn that? And he's just like, I just did it. And I'm like, it blew me the fuck away, honestly. Like, for real.
You're
like,
I hate you.
I know it. I hate you so much. You're so good. No,
Please let me work for you.
Yeah, I know. I will be working for him soon. Yeah, it's just really the tools are there now, and I mean, you still have to have the drive and the desire to do it, but like, it's so much easier now. I mean, like you said, recording, we still do that now, recording in our house. And
we're literally recording in my house.
We're literally recording
right now,
in your house, you know?
AKA the studio.
The studio. Off in a secret location.
Studio.
Studio. Dane's studio. Nice.
So
yeah.
I was talking to my son about that earlier because he was here at lunchtime, and I was explaining to him about Columbia House.
Okay. Yeah.
And
yes.
I was like, look, there was this thing called Columbia House. I guess they're a distributor.
Yeah, a mail-in order label. Yeah,
like, and I don't remember if it was in the magazine or if they just sent it to. I think they sent it to you in the mail. They sent it to your parents though. They didn't send it to you.
And they were also in the magazines because they were the heavier cardstock where you flip through the magazine and it opened right to that page. And I'm like, oh.
so I had to explain to him. First of all, I'm older than Google, so that was step one.
Yeah.
Spotify was not a thing. Not even mail order Netflix was a thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had to like kind of like step him backwards.
To walk him back. Yeah.
Like, I was like,
all these things you hold true, they didn't exist.
I'm like, 3 minutes to load a web page wasn't too bad.
Right. Yeah. You accepted it.
Especially if it had like a photo on it. You're like, we are cruising.
1 megapixel. Yeah.
So essentially, it came down to like, we had like somebody would have like a Primus CD and they're like, I just bought this Primus CD. And then you're like, oh, cool. Can I tape some of that music from you?
Yes.
And I said, and it never even occurred to us that the difference between recording from a CD to a tape was different quality than because we just wanted the music, man.
Yes.
Like, that's all that mattered.
It really,
it wasn't accessible.
Yeah, you didn't get like the highest fidelity, but you knew that song front to back. Like, I honestly, maybe I'm kind of on the cusp of that, but like in terms of age, but like, I wax poetic a little bit on the days of having only a couple CDs and you knew every freaking word on that CD. Like, what
was your first CD?
Oh God, I think the Mission Impossible 2 soundtrack. We were talking about this not too long ago with the Limp Bizkit on there. Got some jams. Yeah, I Disappear, Metallica.
So my first CD was also a soundtrack, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Vanilla Ice.
Come Out of Their Shell.
Oh, okay.
And one of the songs was called Shell Shock.
Nice.
It was all stupid turtle references, but they put this album out that was just, they got the actors to do the voices or whatever.
Cool.
It was like, what am I listening to?
Out of your shell.
But obviously at the time I was young, so Ninja Turtles kicked ass.
Oh, totally.
Because they were following up on their movie and their second movie, and then the third, and
then like
they didn't stop. Oh no, the cartoon is what I was really into.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anyway, that was my one of my first CDs was that, and then one of the other first CDs was Yo-Yo Ma and Bobby McFerrin. Because my dad approved of that music.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of some guy making that kind of noise with his mouth. He did Fly to the Bumblebee.
Oh,
it was cool,
honestly
man.
Awesome.
It was really cool.
That's legit.
With Yo-Yo Ma. And I was like,
two masters, man.
I think about it sometimes.
I know it. You have to start somewhere. And it's like, I remember I kind of got into music, like, honestly, late. And, I guess in relation to a lot of other kids. But, yeah, like
it was last Thursday.
I know. I started. Have you ever heard of music? music. There's this thing called music. It's pretty great. It used to be. It's a lot better. It was a lot better.
And then The Weeknd came out.
Yeah. We love The Weeknd.
Do you?
I love The Weeknd.
No, my apologies.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. He was on American Dad last night. That's why it was in my head as a current artist.
And he's also playing the Super Bowl coming up, which is crazy. Yeah. Like, and
are you a big Machine Gun Kelly fan?
Can't say I am.
As soon as he dissed M, I was like, whoa.
That's too far.
Whoa. But I did like him in Nerve.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen that flick.
Oh, I have not.
Oh, it's a good one.
He was in The King of Staten Island. We watched that.
Is that good?
I honestly liked it a lot. Yeah.
Really? I'm a fan of Pete Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if that, but then Judd Apatow did it.
Yes.
And I thought, okay.
Yeah. And I'm an Apatow fan. I would say this one kind of holds up a little bit. I'm an appetizer. I hope you're listening, Judd. Man, I'm a fan.
Big fan, Judd. Big fan.
I'm about to slam you a bit, but no. His movies are a little too long. Like Funny People is a really incredible half a movie, in my opinion.
I totally agree on that.
But I love his approach to comedy.
This is 40 felt like it was just like 20 minutes too long.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, same. So his run times were a little. This one was good. it was a little longer, but it was earned, in my opinion. Like it felt like it flowed really well. So
is it a documentary or is it like a reenacted or is it like?
I know he co-wrote with Apatow because it's a dramatized film, but it takes a lot from his life. So his father was a firefighter, and he did not die in 9/11, but it's kind of I believe he in the movie, he dies in another fire too. But yeah, they kind of focus on with a lot of firefighters in New York that were in 9/11.
Now that's an interesting thing too. Is how they say there's a certain time you're supposed to wait before you can make fun of like a natural like we've gone long enough. We could probably make a Pearl Harbor joke and it would go over okay.
Right,
not great, but okay.
Yeah,
And then there's obviously that certain time to let people kind of heal a bit, exactly. And it's never going to fully be okay to. I mean, I'm not going to censor a joke, but it might not be the funniest thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I was like, oh man, I wonder when they're going to start making movies about this a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
Because it was such a huge thing. Mm-hmm. Like how many World War II movies are there? Because it was such a huge thing. Obviously, I was a little bigger than 9/11, but and I started thinking about that recently, and then I remembered, and I totally forgot about this movie. I completely spaced it out until someone told me the other day they were an Adam Sandler fan.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, oh well, have you seen Rain on Me?
Oh yeah,
and most people haven't. And I'm like, dude, it's got Don Cheadle in it, and there's a couple other people in there too, and then Adam Sandler.
Yes,
and I'm like, those are some big hitters, man. Like, and for you to not have even heard of it or
it kind of snuck. I remember hearing about it, and I know I've seen it. It's been a long time, but like
it's loosely based on 9/11.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it kind of it slipped under the radar as like one of his lower, more understated performances. And it's like Adam Sandler, don't judge him off of Hoobie Halloween only. I mean, he has some hits in there. That's why I mentioned Funny People being a great half of a film. Like he spends that first half of the film like judging with his, or dealing with mortality, but also, making fun of the shitty movies he made in the past. And that's all he's done since then.
Ever since he went onto Netflix, he's been almost unwatchable.
Absolutely.
For me.
Yeah.
I've turned off 3 or 4 of his movies now, which I hate because not back to the CDs and taping your friends' CDs. I used to tape. They're All Gonna Laugh at You, which was his first album.
Oh yeah,
he used to do albums all the time, and there was like sketches on it, and then some songs.
Yeah,
and they're gold. Every one of them is gold.
Yeah,
I think he did 4 or 5. No, he did 5.
That's right,
and they're all pretty fucking good, and they're all way more raunchy than what he can do on TV. And
exactly, he just lives it up.
and there's something about him that like they have this crazy nostalgia of when he first was starting out. Even the last album he had done. You know what? Not the last album, because he just put one out. It was like recordings of his live stuff.
Oh, really?
He did a tour, and it's not very great.
Yeah.
Except the song for Chris Farley that he did was really good.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And then this other one that's stuck in my head called Phone Wallet Keys. but the rest of it was kind of like,
yeah. It's like you can't really recapture that too. And it's like you look at him back on SNL, like, you know, doing the Hanukkah song and stuff like that.
Spilled all over myself.
And that's when I had my drinking problem. I just watched that recently too, Airplane. Yeah, that's a good one.
I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
So good.
So I'll let you know we're all counting on you.
Yeah, we're all counting on you. And don't call me Shirley.
Oh, man. Now, Airplane was good and monumental, but what did you think of Airplane 2?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know if I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm pretty sure I have not seen it.
It's just as funny to me.
Yeah?
Not as many memorable quotes, but I remember laughing just as much.
Man,
big laughs. Big laughs. Airplane and Airplane
on the level,
2.
I mean, that's a lot of praise.
You could probably find the bundle somewhere.
I'm going to Walmart right now. I'm going to surf through the bins, you know?
Good Lord.
Yes.
Oh, So the other thing we haven't touched on is that you are also a you're a cinephile.
Oh, yes.
Where you also make your own little movies once in a while. And I was looking at the Mercury Transfer on Spotify when I was just playing it, and which you guys won't be hearing the Spotify version. I'm going to put the real version on here. Not the compressed stream, but then I'm going to compress and stream it from there.
A high quality source, though.
But if you go to Spotify, everybody go to Spotify right now. Go to Mercury Transfer
on your mobile device,
and if you watch your screen, Ryan went into every single one of those songs and created a little video for it. It's not a full length video, but they are. What do they call them?
They call them Spotify Canvas.
Canvas, that's right.
Yeah, I use a artist aggregator service called DistroKid, which supplies your tracks. It obtains licenses and whatnot so you can put your music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal. Literally 150 other ones, and they finally allowed access to a function of Spotify that's been previously not allowed to the little man, like you or me. So like
only
labels.
Kesha.
Only Kesha. Yeah, Kesha only can get Spotify Canvas.
Only Kesha.
But like I always thought it was really cool, like because you know, obviously labels have more clout, so they had early access to put up. Because I know from Spotify's perspective, it's like, okay, you know, we don't want to just unleash it and put a bunch of dicks all over. You know, oh, here it is, you know. But
now that you mention it,
yeah. Is that the goal here? If D.O.G releases the seminal single, you know what the fuck that canvas is going to be.
Oh yeah.
But I always thought it was really cool, like even just as a just a little addendum to each song, like you can choose it very carefully. It's a portrait-sized video, and it's 8 seconds that loops. So imagine just looking at your screen, listening to the song, and it's not a video that plays through. Like the length of a music video, but it's select moments, that you can choose or have like a looping piece. Like I did a few for Foreseers as well. So I took maybe 4 or 5 of my favorite shots from the Kappa video, lined them up.
And that's what I would assume a lot of people do is if you had a music video to that song, you would see some of that just to kind of get that imagery in someone's head.
One of my favorite ones recently is an artist, her name's Julian Baker. She had a music video that she put out, animated music video that was just really beautifully done. And the canvas is just an image of this car that rams into a building and it's on fire and it just loops seamlessly. And I'm like, that is perfect for this Spotify version of the song, So like the music video is great, but like the canvas harkens back to
Okay,
it. So.
here's a thought. Do you think I could put Kesha, one of her music videos, in my canvas?
I think you might be able to get away with it,
but there might be some kind of legality issue.
Yeah,
in
Spotify, the bald Spotify guy that doesn't want to pay artists is going to come marching down your door.
God damn it! I'm so sorry.
You know what? You get 0.00002 of every stream now instead of 0.0004.
No!
Go!
I don't even know any of Kesha's songs. I couldn't even name one.
I know one either. Yeah, but Kesha, you
or
know
The
what?
Weeknd.
Early Weekend. Check it out.
Yeah. So that is actually kind of cool because it adds a whole nother dimension to the song. While it gives you so many. At least if you're just sitting there at an airport waiting around, you have something to look at.
Absolutely, and
so on Night Bite, which is the song we heard from you. Go ahead and tell us what you have on that canvas, or do you want to leave it a surprise for everybody?
I actually, I for Mercury Transfer, I try to be kind of as open as I can with a lot of them. Like Foreseers is
shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, we try to keep that close to the vest here, But with MT,
it's actually a song about boobs.
It's boobs.
We don't want people to know.
LP2 is called Bibs. Bibs, dude. So Night Bite was the first song that I wrote for that. Well, first MT song I would say that I wrote, and it's based off of our cat Ivan. When in the night he will bite. Like I'll be asleep and he'll bite me in the night. And so I don't know. It was just as good a thing as any. And most of the clips on those canvas pieces I was gonna do a Night Bite music video to harken back to what you were saying about me maybe shooting some stuff recently, and I just never got around to finishing the video, but like it's still, I'm still shooting quite a bit as much as I can, and it's, just whatever we're inspired with, it's mostly been in the music video realm as of late, but
what were those other videos that you do? The year in
progress.
Year in progress.
Yes.
I always think those are the coolest, man. Obviously,
Thanks, man.
Obviously, it's I'm your friend.
Yes,
so
yes.
To me, it makes a little bit more sense. But you do. I think in your brain works a lot differently, more creatively than a lot of people's, where you're constantly thinking about shots. You're constantly like trying to capture really cool things. Mm-hmm. If anything, just for reference, you're trying to catch it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so quite often those reference shots end up you just make a big collage of a bunch of shots that you had done throughout the year.
Exactly.
And I just got to tell you, man, they're like, it's almost hypnotizing to watch because you're like, it's almost like Best of the Best. You're
right.
You're like, not the movie, the karate movie, but, with Chuck Norris in it.
Oh, hell yeah. I can't achieve that level.
Or was he in Best of the Best too? I can't remember anymore.
That's so funny.
But, it is kind of that, like, it's kind of weird watching a movie of only the best, coolest shots.
Right. Yeah. I know I should throw in a couple
You're like, what is this, an Aronofsky film?
I know. It's like, how are you going to choose the right one? I mean, that one was, the intent behind that one was always, initially it was the whole 365 project where, day one of the year, I'm going to take a picture every single day of the entire year, and it'll sum up my year, I guess, allegedly. I want to change it up a bit and do a video every month of just one day. So, and that's kind of where that started. And then it literally just evolved into, this is the format to where I'm going to tell a random story from either maybe like a month or like centered around a trip, and just try and make something cool. And it's funny too, because it's similar to when like I was releasing the Mercury Transfer stuff is really personal. A lot of those, like I watch them now and I'm really thankful that they're there, because it's like, a lot of that stuff is, would have been gone or lost to like memory. But like some of my memories of all of those moments that those videos are centered around are those videos, and I'm just thankful that they're there. Like, just in terms of me, is like in my past, I'm like, those are the one things I'm like, okay, if no one ever watches them, that's fine. Those are for me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's very, very, personal.
Yeah, but to like go out and like the last one was the 20th one. I chose to just, all right, I'm going to retire it because those will be the 20 that I made, and it was. I'll always remember them as just being pieces that I'm really proud of, and just if it inspires someone else to do it too, then great.
Yeah, actually, so in my head, I was like, I could do this. He thinks he's so cool. Watch this.
So cool.
No, like, to me, I always I pretend to come off like I'm really pompous, but I really am super into what you do, and
appreciate it,
if anything, it's just jealousy. But
Bro,
but all I could think of was like, well, I could probably do something like that. It inspired me to do that. And then I looked at the end of the year, and all I had was one cool shot from a Primus concert, and that's not enough to fill 20 minutes of time. So
here's this whole Primus concert.
So I'm going to be honest, I retired it.
Yeah,
and I only have the video because I downloaded it from my Instagram story.
Yeah,
I was
also compressed.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to let Ryan have this one.
Oh man, I appreciate it. But yeah, it's something. It's like, especially for the year too, like to compile shots from the whole year and have a cohesive narrative that you can kind of weave through. It ends up being like a collage. Like I think about, there's another video that I made one time. It was for the site Vimeo. They used to do these really cool things called the Weekend Project, and it was basically just incite creativity in its community. And so they'd put out the prompt on Thursday or Friday and be like, oh, go shoot it, and then upload it by Sunday or Monday or whatever. And one of them was 1 second edits. And so I went around town, and it was just Ridgecrest. I was like, oh, I'm just going to do this just because I haven't shot anything in a while. It was Ridgecrest in 45 seconds. So I just shot a bunch of stuff, and it ended up being just a collage, set to this song. And, but like when I started cutting it, it just started coming together, like when it's rapid fire shots just of a town that you grew up in or know, it can be really effective, in terms of that, like, I guess, mishmash editing style.
Mishmash.
Mishmash. I'm Sean Connery.
Mishmash.
You're the man now, dog.
So that was kind of that whole thing was like, I honestly did see that and think, how cool is that? I wish I had something like that in my life. And then I just kind of dropped the ball all of a sudden. But I focus my areas a lot differently than you do.
Right.
So we kind of have that. I'm not constantly thinking about the best shot. In fact, more often than not, I'm thinking of the best photo.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm,
so I'm not even. I'm not usually thinking cinematically.
Right.
I'm more like, what would be a really cool peekaboo photo, because that seems to be the thing I do the more than anything.
Yeah, you have a distinct style with that too, in terms of, I would say not necessarily like a voyeuristic type, but like I've seen some really cool, like, framing of like a bar. Like you've taken many shots of me like that, with like in between like a grate, and it's like, oh, he's focusing. He doesn't know, and it's.
Well, I go back to my porno days.
Oh,
when I think about that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
those good old porno days.
So long ago.
So this year we're bringing back the porno days.
Anyway, that's the name of my new album coming out.
By Desert Danish's Porno Days 2LP.
So speaking of Desert Danish,
yes, I want to hear more.
I'm in the middle
of
recording it. Well, I kind of done recording most of the album.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm stuck on this name. It's called The Desert Never Sleeps.
Cool.
I haven't gone into production yet, so I haven't nailed that down as the absolute name, because all of a sudden I came up with something different the other day, even though I've been staring at this for over a year as that name.
Yep.
Maybe it's my Blue Harvest,
Oh, yeah. I know.
My code name.
Yes, that's the name within the name.
I think it's 8 songs. Mm-hmm. I believe it's 8 songs. One of them I didn't write, but a good friend of mine, Allie Powers, wrote it. who I look up to as a musician, and it meant the world to me that he actually suggested I use one of his songs for the album.
That's
and I never would have
cool.
asked.
Really cool.
I just was like, hey man, I love your song, I love your music, I love how you write. We just became friends over the years. I've known him since 2010, and he was like, hey man, if you want to do it, go for it. And so that to me meant the world.
Yeah.
So then it was the next step of, oh fuck, now I have to learn how to fucking play good, because I don't want to let my friend down who not only plays guitar very well, he sings phenomenally. And then on top of that, he's believable.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that's very hard when you're doing a cover song that you or any song that you didn't write.
Right.
You have to be believable.
Yes, you have to sell it.
It doesn't quite sound right. And so I don't know if I hit that or not. I haven't showed it to him. I haven't really shown it to anybody because I'm very...
That's the one you're most nervous about?
It is. Yeah, and it's like to the point where it's just jarring almost, where I'm just like...
It's true.
I almost like don't want to put it out. I'm like, I don't know. But I'm gonna. Yeah. Because I think it's a snapshot in time, and I need to understand I'm not him. And... but I love the guy. I think he's great. We've talked about collaborating on some stuff, which is even cooler to me that he was like, yeah, sure.
That's my favorite thing about covers.
He doesn't talk like that. But,
sure.
yeah, dude,
yeah,
sure,
bro.
Yeah. No, he's actually British. So
oh, nice.
It's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. So he's Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Nice. No, but that's
collaborating with Robert Smith.
I know, right? R. Smith, Robert Smith,
Raul Santos.
Raul Santos. RS. No, but that's my I guess that's a good segue, because that's with covers. That's always been my modus operandi. Is
I love that term.
Yeah, me
I use it once a week
at least. I use it once an hour.
hey, baby, you can get my modus operandi.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, baby. Shit. But yeah, honestly, with covers, like making them your own. Otherwise, these straight, just to the T covers never work, because it's like you're always thinking about the original. I mean, so with the Cure covers, as you know, we've done a Forest in D.O.G for a long time, and we play that one pretty close, I would say, to what the
which is weird
original.
For a punk cover band to do the Forest.
Exactly, that's our new wave.
We have a new wave 30-minute part of the set.
Yes, go
just to let people go to the bar and get some drinks and then come back and slam
Feel
dance.
Yeah, we need more slam dancers.
Oh
yeah, fuck.
Yeah, and so I watched a video of our first punk cover show, and all our friends showed up. It was like hundreds of people in the bar that night.
It was fucking awesome.
And it was weird because everybody that I was not expecting to be slamming was slamming.
Oh, I know.
And watching the video makes me so happy, because I just see like people that would never even listen to punk rock but came out to support us slamming out there on the floor before it got too drunk, messy. Someone spilled a beer at one point.
Yeah, and they cleared the floor for Killing with Kerosene. I felt like that was fucking no. But other than that, it was that I've only seen that bar packed that way once before, and for us to hit that level was
that for a 6 Feet Over show?
It was 6 Feet Over, Shillelaghs, and fucking Dumpster Mummy or something. I think it was the first Rock the Relay. And they were turning people away for that. But like the best part was 2 new bands, an album release for a weird, progressive 3-piece, and Killing with Kerosene's hard hitting shit.
I would call them like a metal punk band.
Yeah.
Rock, metal punk.
A lot of
they're very
influences, and
I would call 6 Feet Over rock metal.
Yes, exactly.
So that was a good fit for them. And then Love and War is more of a pop punk.
Yes, and that was their first show. So like no one knew them. It was our first show as D.O.G. Duendes with the album release, like that was one of the best nights of my life.
And you played 2 sets on drums that night, and you said you'll never do it again.
I won't. No, and there was a reason why D.O.G opened and Duendes closed. My favorite bands between for me to rest.
So my favorite part of that night was when Ryan had this idea. He had this shirt that said something about dogs on it.
We found it at a thrift store. It just said, "Yay God, oh wow, yay God" on the front, "oh wow" or something on the back.
and so he had this cool idea. He was like, "Hey man, check this out. I'm going to take my shirt off halfway through and throw it into the crowd."
Yes.
You know, like he's Neil Peart.
Oh, totally.
And
it was planned.
The people were going to eat it up, man. They were just going to be clawing to get this thing.
Because I scribbled out "yay" and put "dildo of God." So that's a
disgusting.
name. A name.
That's disgusting. And inappropriate for the podcast.
It's crossed the line. There's the line. You crossed it.
So
here it is.
So you threw the shirt out.
Yep.
You played the rest of the set shirtless, and at the very end, someone handed it back to you.
Yes, because I threw it, and you know,
and you're like, I don't want this.
I know, I threw it for a reason. I threw it from behind the drums, knowing I don't want to ever see it again. Come back, I threw it directly at my friend Anthony's face, basically, who coincidentally is Lacey's brother-in-law. So he hands her the shirt, and then it comes back to me. It is currently sitting in my dresser
like,
at the moment, right now.
Get rid of this thing. But it was like the coolest, like rock star thing that you had planned out to go to like the lowest not rock star thing ever.
It was just, yeah.
Hey man, you dropped your shirt.
Yeah.
Like, no. Frame it.
I promise. It's yours. Take it all the way. Yeah.
I'll sign it for you if you want.
We signed a lot of shirts that night.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. I still look at the dong on the frame.
Sorry, dude.
It's a part.
So for anyone not listening,
yeah.
Dane had a couple drinks that night. I'm Dane, if you didn't know.
That's him.
It was not my happiest. Well, it was a happy moment.
It was
for
the
me,
happiest
but it was not
hour.
my. It wasn't my finest hour. I think a lot of people got rubbed the wrong way that night. Metaphorically speaking.
Metaphorically, yeah, no rubbing.
I got a little drunk and I started signing Duende's
merch.
stuff. I asked them prior to signing.
We're
they
cool
just
with
didn't
it.
know I wasn't in the
I gotta
band.
say, yeah, that entire night was a blur. So I mean, and I wasn't drunk. It was just because there was so much shit going on, and it was, you know, it's one of those ones where you know it's gonna be fun and you got to remember it, but it goes by so quick that it just, you know.
Anyway, a commemorative photo was issued to the band at the end.
Shout out
everybody
to
signed it.
Nate Newman and Nicole for making that. Thank you guys.
And everybody signed it, and Drunk Dane signed it as well with a phallus.
A penal image.
Yeah.
But no, it was out of, I'm going to say it's out of love.
Out of love. Out of love. Of course. There's nothing but love there, man. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If you'd like, I'll re-sign it over so we can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Thing. I am so sorry.
No problem.
It was not my finest hour.
It fits it. Yeah, it was a hell of a night, and it just reminds me why I know we
don't invite Dane anymore.
Why he hasn't been to another one? No. You're always insanely supportive of pretty much every band in this town and us as well. Like, we really appreciate it, man. Like, all of us, you've, putting together a podcast and just shouting out everyone. Honestly,
yeah,
it's
dude.
been great.
For me, it's I've been given a lot of love and support, and we're not rock stars, man. We're not playing the Forum.
Right.
We're in the small town, rural town. We're in the rural town of in California, and that's all we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of sucks when, like, I feel like there's times where I'm really supportive of a band and they really don't care.
Right.
And that really kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, because it's like,
and
it's just like, oh, thanks, you're just one of my
like,
groupies or whatever.
Like, I'm super stoked to, like, even if I hate the album, I will promote it for you. I will be like, check this out. This is cool as shit. Even if I don't listen to it,
right?
Or, because it's a friend. Mm-hmm. It's somebody that I care about, and I want them to succeed. And
and it's the idea of, like, okay, a person you care about, and, like, it's your buddy, and they made something, they put something out in the world, and it's like, it takes a lot of fucking guts to do that. Like, even if we're really supportive of each other, it's like, it's still nerve-wracking as all hell to put something in the world like that. It's, yeah.
and there's such a lack of support usually for that kind of stuff that I try. I'm glad you noticed. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I don't do it for the notoriety of it. I just honestly love supporting people because I would also like that back.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
and then the best way to do it is just and it seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah, and it's out of and it's,
I do it for fellow artists, and photographers and artists and musicians and anyone that's doing a thing.
A real artist respects the craft, like, no matter what, it's like, I know I can't paint, but fuck, I love, seeing great artwork being made,
right.
Like visual artwork or, music or, poetry or whatever it ends up being, like, it's all deadly.
That's
my catchphrase.
What's super cool is I played a show, Hope for the Invisible. Hope of the Invisible.
Hope of the Invisible. Yeah.
And it was not just music; it was music and art, and it was so cool to like mix and like custom car stuff, custom paint jobs on the cars. Then there was like the artists who didn't use normal stuff to paint.
Yes.
And then there was like the normal canvases, and then there was all the different styles.
The live painter too.
And then
like
there was
then
there was like a DJ, and like everything just sort of like everything felt right that night. Like and it was so cool. And it sucks that we can't have another one right now.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we honestly we feel like just stifled at the moment.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's, and there's ways to get around it, live streams or making your own songs at home or whatever, but it's like nothing will really ever come close to the feeling we had at that first dog show. That's what it is.
Yeah. And so the other thing too that I've been doing, not to cut you off,
no problem,
but with my album that's coming out, my son moved to town a few months ago, and he's we had him on the podcast a couple episodes ago, and he was very much just wanting to film anything because he doesn't know anybody out here. So he's like, man, you just let me know and we'll make a video. And he was super pumped on it. So I thought, okay, well, I have this album coming out. He already did one video for it, but that's when he lived in Salt Lake. So I'm not really featured in it, which is fine because there's lots of videos like that. And it was fucking awesome.
It was.
He did such a good job on that.
Yeah, truth.
And then so I came up, him and I sort of brainstormed. And I said, I have this idea sort of in my head of what I want part of the video to be. And then we just kind of worked on it from there. I'll be honest with you. The next video, so we filmed the video this last weekend. It was 11 hours of filming.
Nice,
It's almost done. There's a little bit more filming that has to be done.
Yeah.
But the weather's not really cooperating. We have a big winter storm coming in.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But he brought everything. I mean, he had the big guns, man. He had the Black Magic Pocket Cinema.
Cool. Yep.
And which I didn't realize you get so much more depth out of these cameras.
The dynamic range is huge.
It's
on
way
those Black Magics,
more better.
Yeah.
And it's just like we went out to the Trona Pinnacles. We walked on the railroad tracks. We walked on. Basically the video is me walking most of the time.
Those are my favorite videos, honestly. Like that's kind of been a theme for a lot of videos I've done is movement.
Here was my concept. I said, look, Lady Gaga made a video out here recently on iPhone.
Yes.
I want to make a video out here in front
on
of
Black Magic.
in front of the same pinnacles.
Yeah. Lady Gaga touched this pinnacle.
So that was my concept.
Nice.
I want to be where Lady Gaga was.
Well, as the Desert Danish, the cacti like absolving back into the desert. I mean, that's a good concept. It really
made sense because the song's called Pretending, and it's coming out as soon as we can finish the rest of the scenes. I'll put the video out before March.
Is that going to be like your first single, or I guess Burning Those Bridges?
Well, Devil Whispers was the first single.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then Burning These Bridges is the second. The third is I just wanted to make a video for it, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So I'll probably just put the video out. I don't think I'm going to make it a single. And so basically, the one thing I didn't really think about was how I'm going to hold the guitar. So I'm walking through the desert with a guitar, and for 11 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess it didn't cross my mind that it was going to fucking hurt after a while.
It's like those scenes. It's like those scenes in like in a feature where a younger actor and not super experienced, he'll eat the food.
Eating.
He'll eat the food, and he'll get full after like the fourth take. He's like, I don't want to eat anymore. When you got like Tom Hanks next to him, and he's like, pace yourself, kid. Yeah. This ain't my first rodeo. Yes.
So yeah, the video we worked diligently on. It's coming out great. I saw a rough draft of it put together for the most part. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be badass, man.
I'm glad, man.
I'm
That's
really
super
looking
cool.
forward to it.
Yeah, your son is insanely talented,
incredibly talented.
Yeah, and it's,
I think Magic Media Pro is his new company he just came up with.
Yep.
Which is going to be based. It's going to be based out of Salt Lake, but he's going to move back there once he finishes high school. He's not even finished high school yet, man.
That's amazing, man. I remember what I was doing in high school video wise, and it's
drugs and skateboarding, man.
It's not on the level he's operating, man.
No,
like, yeah.
no.
The brief clip you showed me, it was incredible. Like the fact that he's shooting it all on his own too. That's amazing. It really it is.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's obviously got his DAD, you know.
Big,
but no,
big man.
Wes is just insane, and catch him when you can, because he's not going to be here forever.
That's true. Yeah.
None of us are, man. All life is temporary. Oh wait, I got to do my voiceover because I got the voiceover mic now.
I know.
All life is temporary.
This summer,
coming soon.
The end of life.
The end of life as you know it. Actually, it's the Will Arnett voice.
Really? Yes.
Michael.
Michael.
I've been watching Arrested Development lately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've made a huge mistake.
After The Office left, I know.
That was actually that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I've been looking for another show to binge after The Office left Netflix, and Arrested is a quality contender.
Oh yeah,
so,
and I didn't know they had a fifth season. And the fourth is remixed now to the proper order.
Okay, yeah,
which was the reason I stopped watching the show, because it's too fucking confusing.
Yeah. So now it's actually lined up properly.
Yeah. Anyway, I can't thank you for being on the show enough. I appreciate you coming out. So anybody that wants to follow you can follow Foreseers.
Yeesh.
And this is on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, sir.
You guys got a TikTok?
We don't have a TikTok. We have a Twitter. Yeah, that I post on once a year, maybe for Foreseers. But you know,
so what is it? Foreseers
band. Foreseers band.
So you got Foreseers. You got Mercury Transfer.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And if for some reason it pulls up a shipping or storage company, just keep on cruising to the band.
For it, yes.
What else you got?
Those are my main two. Yeah, we also got RC Dog Punk, as you know.
We post there twice a year.
Pretty much twice a year, a funny meme or two, which is always a joy. But yeah, those are my main two. Honestly, that's been my main focus as of late. Really has been Foreseers and new MT, which I'm hoping that will come out this year. Both will come out this year.
Heck yeah, man!
Yeah, so.
And then for me, my stuff is at Desert Danish. I think that's what most of them are under. Not too many Desert Danishes out there.
You picked a
lot of dessert Danishes out there. So it's one S, desert.
Desert.
Remember, you'd want to cross one desert and eat two desserts. So
like
one
that.
S and two S. That's how I always remember it.
Get your tunes, get your dessert, all in one.
So I just remembered something. We can't go. Brian will be very upset if you don't do the walk-in of the week. We need you to do a Christopher Walken impression for us.
Oh, champagne. That old SNL. You must have some champagne, okay?
We're counting.
I know.
We're counting. I can't believe I almost forgot.
Oh, man. Shout out to B. Thank you for letting me step in for an episode. It's an honor to be in your chair and hang with Mr. Danish here for a bit, and yeah.
Cool, man.
Much love.
We appreciate everybody listening. Go ahead and find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, YouTube, even. We are under Desert Underground Podcast. And we actually have a website up now at www.desertundergroundpodcast.com.
There it is.
Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you. And out of your 40 bands, it's nice to talk about one or two every time.
Exactly. Yes. happy to be here, guys. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And you are the epitome of music, movies, and everything in between. So
I am the archetype.
So again, thank you for coming out. We'll talk to you guys all next time.
Yeah. Damn it. Why can't we be Winger?